They did the CT, and within 2 hours, they had called me back into the doctor's office, and they told me that my cancer was back, that my cancer had returned in the pericardium fluid of my heart. It had returned in both lungs. It had returned in the liver. They thought that it was possibly in my hip bones, and that it was also all through the lymph nodes, through the mediastinum. I felt, to say that I had felt like I got hit in the gut is mild. I literally actually pretty much didn't hear anything they said after that.
The reason I think that cancer research was so appealing was the disease was a disease that was prevalent and that we knew very little about, and that we had treatments that were fairly primitive by almost any standards. The thing that drove us to do the work and really motivated me was being in the clinic and seeing these patients and seeing that I could be very gratified when I saw a tumor respond, but it didn't happen that often when we used the traditional approaches. And also, it was limited. It was for a period of time before the tumor would come back and no longer respond. It was frustrating. So I think everybody working in the field thought there had to be a better way of approaching these diseases.
I think most of us, even the most ardent advocates for the program, thought it was over, because this was a very serious side effect. That is the low point in the whole 30 years of this story. That's the low point, because we really thought it was over.
I remember sitting in my office here in this building, having a meeting with somebody, and Mark Slakowski walked in and he said 2 words to me. And he had this big smile on his face. He said, "It worked." And that's all he had to say. We jumped up and down, we hugged each other, we cried. I mean, it was incredible. And I remember this like it was yesterday.
When I was diagnosed the second time with this horrible diagnosis, I went to the oncologist with my family to hear about possible treatments. And I basically went for the children, for the boys. I honestly didn't have a whole lot of stock in it. But I just knew that if I didn't try this, that they would think that I didn't give it everything to stay with them. And I wanted to, more than anything, to stay with them, to see them grow, to experience more life experiences. I wanted all of those things.